We know about your past, Karter. Prison, then to inpatient. Plenty to not disclose. Did any of that play a role in what happened at the gas station?
The mist swirled, clinging to every reflective surface of this dimly lit chamber. Karter, their body adrift like a whiff of smoke, felt a prickle of unease that snaked up their spine. Was this a dream? A disembodied voice echoed around them, resonating through the vacuum. Dreams, it rumbled, a hint of interrogation flickering in its tone, are often the crossroads of the collective unconscious, a place woven from the threads of our shared human experience. The voice paused, a beat of silence heavy with unspoken implication. And yet when we find ourselves adrift from there, far from its light, lost in the shadows, is it mere happenstance? Or are you simply a cursed sort? The question hung heavy, broken only by the emergence of a hauntingly beautiful piano melody. Its notes danced through the sterile emptiness, a sound composition that both soothed and unsettled. As if drawn by an unseen guide, their eyes fluttered open. Staring back from the reflection was not the familiar warmth of amber irises. Instead, empty voids gaped where Karter's eyes should have been. Sometimes, it is most comfortable in the dark. Karter's lips moved, but their words were not their own. The grim visage grew distant, and suddenly they were removed from the horrid sight. Karter's eyes fluttered open, adjusting to the stark white ceiling that offered no answers to the lingering questions from the previous night. With a tired groan, they reached for their phone, the digital clock displaying the harsh reality of morning. Drowsiness clung to them like a weighted blanket, refusing to be shaken off. Smacking their lips, they felt dryness that felt always lingering after a deep sleep. Pushing themselves out of the bed's warm embrace, they stepped into the cold tile floor. Its chill was a stark contrast to the previous night's slumber. Karter made their way to the living room. Their phone cut through the lingering melody of a piano playing in the ambiance. It was screaming, demanding attention. Reaching for the device, Karter unlocked it to find a new text message blotting the screen. Mom. Hey, KK. The opening line brought a smile to their lips. The prepubescent nickname, a remnant of childhood giggles and minor wounds, felt strangely comforting amidst this new, disorienting reality. Karter's mom continued. I hope things are well over at your new place. I sent you some money for breakfast today. I know the world may be a bit much, but you can pull through. Gratitude washed over them. Their mom was ever the pillar of strength. Even from miles away, she was their anchor, their lifetime in a sea of uncertainty. The thought of her unwavering support offered a much-needed solace, momentarily pushing back the tide of loneliness that threatened to engulf them during their jail time. Mom. Preston came over yesterday. You just missed him. Hopefully I'll have you two together soon. And just as things got brighter, things got darker. And this time, the feeling was stronger. The next line sent a pang of sadness through Karter. The mere thought of seeing their brother sent a tremor through them. Their relationship, once close, had fractured under the weight of their past mistakes and unspoken resentments. Now the thought of potentially reuniting after Karter's release, the prospect just felt daunting. A challenge even their mother's optimism couldn't fully realize. With a sigh, Karter stared at the screen, the warmth of their mother's words battling the coldness of Preston's absence. The new life they were trying to build seemed to flicker, its foundations trembling under the weight of their past. Taking a deep breath, Karter knew this was just the beginning. The real test, the true measure of their strength, would be facing the ghost of their past, both literal and metaphorical, one shaky step at a time. Just not now. The stark gray walls of the living room seemed to press in, echoing the emptiness Karter felt inside. The sound of their phone had broken the fragile illusion of isolation, dragging them back to the harsh reality of bills, responsibilities, and their past. And then another notification into their phone. They flinched, their hand instinctively reaching to silence the insistent reading, but before they did, a prickle of unease crawled up their spine. In the corner of their eye, a flicker of movement in the twilight that seemed to cling to the shadows. Something was here. No one had been in this place, but Karter had grown accustomed to the unseen presence that shared their apartment. It had been there ever since they were released from jail, following them like a shadow. Karter sends a message back to their mom. Sometimes it's easier to forget. Inside the walls, everything just kind of melted away. The fact I'm in debt because I went to jail feels, okay, well, I guess deserved. Everything that was an echo is real now. Karter knew this wasn't one to be sent. This text would inevitably just be erased, and that's what they did. Logging out of the messaging app, suddenly an uncertainty and thick fog swirled in Carter's mind. A sudden panic, anxiety so strong it caused their eyes to shut and feel with violent intensity. The ticking of a clock, the sudden warmth of the apartment air, every sensation all at once in all their annoyance. Through this inhospitable reaction, Karter descends away from reality, disconnecting from the true world, and instead choosing to retreat into a world of their own imagination. Karter tugged at the threads of consciousness, weaving them together in a familiar ritual. It was time to escape, to step into the scape, their haven tucked away at the harsh edges of reality. It was a place built upon imagination, some place that they made while they were in jail. It wasn't bound by time or logic, and their anxiety dissolved like smoke and was replaced by whatever they sought to create. While in jail, during a particularly bad mental episode, Karter was diagnosed with maladaptive daydreaming. A curse in some eyes was a survival skill in theirs. It had been their solace in the confines of prison, and now it served as a welcome escape from the overwhelming vastness of freedom. Attention had always been a fickle friend, flitting in and out like a butterfly, but here on the scape, it was theirs to command, shaping the fabric of their imagined reality with all their honed attention. The ritual was simple. Step outside the apartment, lock the door, and then drift. The world would fade, replaced by the boundless landscapes of their imagination. Today it would be a bustling marketplace, or maybe a beach. Anything their heart desired. At some point, they worried about what the world around them saw when they were there. Deep in the scape, adventuring or surrounding themselves with influencers or celebrities. Was it just them mumbling to themselves or dancing along to the unseen rhythms? But now they haven't thought about what the world thinks of them since they were released from jail, and so long as they continued their schedule and maintained a job, it didn't really matter if they could remember their days or not. All that mattered was their reality, the one they sought the most within the scape. Carter's fingers hovered inches above the doorknob, the portal to the scape just a breath away. Freedom, imagination, the sweet escape. But then the world lurched once again. Another notification, a vibration, incessant and jarring, tore through the quiet hallway and door, shattering the carefully constructed illusion. A sigh escaped their lips, tinged with disappointment. Escape for now with... Wait, no. With a reluctant gaze, their phone screen illuminated the dull hallway. The name Dante blazed on display, accompanied by a cryptic message that pulsed like a neon sign in the dimness. But the name held no recognition, no familiar echo in the labyrinth of Carter's mind. It was a foreign entity, an unwelcome intrusion in their carefully planned schedule. Hesitation flickered, briefly challenged by the habitual pull of escape. Perhaps just this once, reality deserved a moment's attention. Yet the siren song of their imagined world remained strong. With a practiced motion, Karter locked the door. The click, a familiar comfort. Ignoring the insistent phone for now, they closed their eyes, focusing on the familiar thread that led to the scape.